She and I are of a similar age. We are both the children of East African immigrants. We even grew up in a similar part of London. Despite all of these similarities, we are diametrically opposed on quite a few issues. I have another piece of audio of Miss Bravermann that explains, I think, why she and I have such differing views. And as I play these bits of audio to you, I'm going to interject with my point of view so you can see how two people with similar backgrounds can have very strongly held views that are either end of the spectrum. Here's Miss Bravermann, the Home Secretary, talking about her parents coming to the UK.
They came here legitimately. That was the policy of the government. They came here, they integrated, they loved this country from afar as children of empire.
OK, so my parents came here legitimately. I came here legitimately. I was born abroad. I was born in Tanzania. My parents were children of empire. It was important to my parents that I integrate as they did. They set the example. My mum loved Britain from afar. My dad had experienced Britain. He'd been a student here in the 1950s. He respected it. He was a realist about it. Both my parents understood just how much Britain had also benefited from empire. Here's Miss Bravermann again.
They don't, by the way, have any qualms about extolling the virtues of the British Empire. It was the British Empire that brought infrastructure, the legal system, the civil service, the military to countries like Mauritius and Kenya.
OK, so slow down here, Suella, is what I would say to her if she was in the room. My family had played a part in building infrastructure. They were in the civil service, they were in the army, they were in the law. Those structures, those created by the British, because these things also existed in a different form under Indian rule, under Mughal rule, actually, that preceded the British Empire, those things were created by the British solely for the smooth running of the exploitation of resources. What was happening under the colonial economy was this. Britain had free access to raw materials and labour from its colonies. It got those resources and labour at cut price rates. That artificially fixed the world economy in favour of Britain. That is how Britain got as rich as it is. Those things, those structures, were not created for the benefit of Indians. Those structures were created for the smooth running of economic exploitation. It was not something that was created to help colonised people. Back to Miss Bravermann.
On my mum's side there, I think it's her great uncle and auntie fought with the Allies in World War II, and they were so proud of that.
So did my uncle, and we are incredibly proud of him. He led men through the jungles of Burma. At times there was hand-to-hand combat. It was an absolutely gritty, bloody, violent war that was waged by the Japanese against the Allied forces. And my uncle was at the heart of it, and he wrote a book about it. And we are exceptionally proud of him. Exceptionally proud of him. But nevertheless, what is also true, Miss Bravermann, is that that war was won and fought by European powers who were fighting one another. And they were absolutely fighting the tyranny of fascism, but they were also doing it using hundreds of thousands of colonial soldiers and using our resources. And let me tell you something. Millions of people in Bengal starved to death because of World War II. It was called the Bengal famine. What the British did was requisition food and sent it off to troops in Europe, and millions of Bengalis died. I will tell you more about that as the hour continues. Indians died to support the war effort in their millions. So, Miss Bravermann, please take a look at the history books. Back to Miss Bravermann and her final clip.
So I think, children of empire, there are definitely, there's obviously a mixed picture, and obviously there are bad things about empire. But
history is complex.
History is complex and nuanced, and I'm not going to apologise for empire. I'm not going to apologise for our past. History
Should we
is there
be proud
for
of
us to
empire? Should we be prouder?
I am proud of the British Empire.
Yeah, quite.
Yes.
You know, I think all of these things need to be looked at in context. There are no doubt some things that were positive in the legacy left behind by the British. Of course, the newly independent Indian government was able to take control of the railways. That has been helpful in terms of the migration, the intermigration, if you like, of populations in India. But was India also left in vast amounts of debt to the British? Yes, it was. Is India still suffering from the legacy of empire? Yes, it is. Is that true of the West Indies? Yes, it is. Is it true also of vast areas in Africa? Yes. These countries have continued to struggle post-empire. So that debate about where responsibilities lays and whether or not countries like Britain should consider whether or not they apologise, I think that's a live debate. I don't think we can draw conclusions at the moment. And let's face it, we've had members of the royal family, haven't we, edging towards an apology, particularly in countries where colonisers literally massacred indigenous populations. So, Miss Bravermann, you and I may be very similar. The children of East African immigrants, we may have grown up in the same place, we may even have crossed paths at primary school, but we have wildly differing views.